Gotta wait 5 seconds. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. It's the last day before I head out to Eugene, Oregon for Worlds this year. It's going to be the first year that it's held on U.S. soil. I'm pretty excited about it. It's my first time going to a track meet of this kind of scale. And I guess really like of any like track meet this big. I mean, other than Worlds, there's like the Olympics, and I've never been to the Olympics before either. So like this is a pretty big deal for me. I'm super excited to go. I have lots of fun activities planned there. It's going to be a super packed schedule. Lots of friends that'll be going there too. And then pretty much I feel like the running world's going to be there. So very, very excited. Just got to get through kind of like today, wrap everything up, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, I want to say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast, on the audio-only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today. All right, let me mess around with these microphone settings a little bit. Hopefully you guys are having a good run. It is hot and humid here in Illinois, out in the suburbs, far suburbs. I don't know that we're exurbs, but we're far suburbs out here. And hopefully it's not too humid for you guys. And everyone else watching on YouTube later after the fact. Sorry about all the noise here. Watching on YouTube after the fact. Hopefully you guys are sitting back with a nice afternoon coffee or something, or maybe something a little bit stronger, and having a good evening. All of a sudden now I'm hearing like a buzzing. Hold on, guys. Is that better? There we go. That's better. All right. Now let's see who is here in the chat. First we got Leona says, want to wish you a great trip, Mike. Told hubby we need to finish our errands quickly so I could make it to the live stream. Well, I'm glad you guys made it. And Sean says, hey, everyone, with a wave emoji. It's very humid 8 miles this morning. Not sure how Floridians do it every day. I mean, do you guys watch OMG, It's Wix? You know, I'm pretty much ready to leave TikTok. I just don't love it over there. But there are a handful of characters that I've met, like, or not met, but like found on TikTok or I've encountered that I just think are like pretty unforgettable. OMG, It's Wix is a dude who basically kind of like live vlogs Florida at its most Floridian, and one of his recurring characters is humidity. Another recurring character, like there's a set, like humidity is a character, indoor air conditioning is another one, thunderstorms is another one. So it's pretty funny. So whenever I think about Florida and humidity, I think of OMG, It's Wix, WICKS. You should check them out. But yeah, humidity is no joke. I got super hot. I had a little workout today that I did testing out the Magic Speed 2 for the first time. I don't have like a race that I'm getting ready for, but I thought, you know, that shoe, it's a speed shoe. So I needed to do a workout in it, and it was a lot of fun, but I was so gross by the end of my workout. Vincent says, yo. JC says, hello. 2 days in a row. Good to see you back. Fernando Garza Villarreal says, hello. Finally set my lunch break to match the live stream. All right, there you go. But unfortunately, this will be the last live stream for probably another week, because I'm leaving on Thursday tomorrow, and then I'll be there for 5 days, and then a 6th day is a travel day. But I will have a run in the morning. So basically every day I'll be doing some sort of group run up in Eugene, except for Marathon Monday when the women's marathon is. I don't think I have a group run set for that day because the marathon starts 6:15, I think. But maybe we'll hang out, do something afterwards. We'll figure some stuff out. If you guys are up there, like message me, let me know where you're at. Let's figure out some stuff to do. I have a schedule of stuff to do, but when there's time to hang out, we'll hang out. Or maybe we'll just meet up at the stadium. That'll be fun. All right. Dad Morale says, hola. Brett says, hi all. Long time no talk. Hope everyone's doing well. Good to see you, Brett. Jonathan Crossley, good to see you again too. Says, glad I made one live this week. Awesome. Elliot Michael says, hello. Just listened to the guest feature on the Spark podcast. Great listen. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was on Spark podcast. It was a while ago. I mean, it was recorded before we moved, before I think a lot of the A6 van trips. Maybe it was after, I think it might have been right after Baltimore though. So the Columbus-Baltimore trip right after that is when we filmed it. So it was a little while ago. I kind of forgot about it, and then it came out today. And I feel like, if I remember like the conversation correctly, it talked about a lot of things that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about lately. in podcasts. And I think it's kind of like, it's a subject that comes up like once a season, like in the summer, beginning of like back to school, holidays, and then like once springtime hits. It's the concept of like balance. So we talked a little bit about work-life balance and what I think balance means. So I feel like that was a good conversation. I love those guys. I met them. I mean, I've been following them on Instagram for a while, and then I met them at the summer grit party like 2 summers ago. We ran together then. So that was a good one. Thanks for listening, Elliot. Eric says, hey, yo, about to head to Leadville for a 2-3-day training block. Hope everyone is well. Awesome. Yeah, I think I would love to be able to dedicate more mental space to hard rock for the going on this weekend and just thinking about some mountain ultras. But I just think that with everything going on in Eugene, like my mind doesn't have room for more running stuff. But I am very much looking forward to the fact that there will be coverage of it and lots of videos afterwards. And that's one of the things that I think that ultra running does exceptionally well that other running doesn't do as well. And I think part of it's due to the nature of the events. They're longer, and then they're much more scenic places, and the paces are different, which enables more people to be able to film more. But I feel like road marathons and like half marathons, 10Ks and stuff, like there just not isn't your, if there's a big running weekend, you're just not going to see a lot of content about it. You might be able to watch the elites win, but you're not going to see a lot of other content. And that's one of the things that I'm personally trying to change, and encourage more people to do. But I do think that like for Leadville, I don't know where I don't have to check the dates on Leadville. I'm not going to go, but hopefully I'll be able to at least follow along a little bit more closely. But Hard Rock this weekend, I'm just going to have to rely on people that are there, telling good stories and putting them on YouTube. All right. Colin Lehman said, hey, everyone, just pre-ordered the Endorphin Pro 3 from Roadrunner today. Ooh, I saw that was posted online. I'm excited to try that shoe out. It just looks so different than the Endorphin Pro 2, and I'm hoping that it's softer. Now, I forget who I was talking to about it, who had run in it, and they were like, oh, it might be too soft. And I was like, and then a Saucony race shoe too soft? Because I feel like, my personal like secret theory on it, I don't know, I don't have any backup on it, is that Jared Ward, I know, is heavily involved in the product testing of the Endorphin Pro, from the first one to the second one. And my sense is that it's very much a shoe that he likes and that it works for his like running mechanics. And I think that I'm a different kind of runner, not even just caliber. He's a pro, one of the best American marathoners, and I'm like a regular guy. There's that. But I think that like our preferences are very different too. And so like I'm always like, oh, I want to love the Endorphin Pro, but I don't know that I can. Last year's I don't think that the Endorphin Pro 2 was better necessarily than the Endorphin Pro 1. I think that my running changed a little bit where I was able to find a way to use it more. And I'm hoping this in version 3, not only will I continue with that in terms of finding workouts and ways to use the shoe that really highlight its strengths, but I'm hoping that also it changed a little bit too to kind of meet me in the middle a little bit more. I'm very excited about that shoe. Adam wants to know, initial feel on the Magic Speed. I think that had it come out last year, it would have been like everyone would have gone nuts for it, because I feel like it reminds me a lot of 2 shoes right now. It reminds me a lot of the Endorphin Metaspeed Sky version 1 a lot. And it also reminds me a lot of the Metaspeed Edge Plus a lot. And I think that basically it's kind of like Endorphin. I keep saying Endorphin. I think that it's a lot like Metaspeed Sky plate orientation, where it's a little bit more tilted downward. And it has a little bit more of an edge kind of feel where it likes a little bit more of turnover. There's a little bit more rocker there. There's a very aggressive toe spring. But it doesn't quite make me have to turn over quite as fast as the Metaspeed Edge Plus does. So it reminds me a little bit of the Metaspeed Sky version 1. It reminds me a lot of the Metaspeed Edge Plus. It's kind of like in between those 2 shoes, and it's like a training version, like a training companion. Like it's the true training companion that we were looking for last year in the Magic Speed that we didn't get in the last year's Magic Speed. So I'm super excited about it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. And whereas I really don't like the Metaspeed Edge Plus at like recovery paces, like warm up paces, stuff like that. I'd rather like, it's one of those shoes where I'm like, I'd rather warm up in another shoe and switch when it comes time to do the work. The Magic Speed 2 is a pretty good just running shoe. So, I mean, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people, it feels very different than a Boston 9, but I think that a lot of people will use it like the Boston 9. And the other shoe that it kind of reminds me of is a little bit of the Hyperion Tempo, where like it's a bit firm at slower speeds, and then once you really start picking up the pace, it feels a lot more interesting because you're hitting it right and compressing the foam right. So it's a shoe that I'm very excited for. I also think it happens to look amazing. I got like the tiger stripe orange one. I think it's orange. I don't know, but I absolutely am enjoying the shoe quite a bit. The thing is, like, I mean, I'm in a unique position where for a workout that I might use the Magic Speed 2, I probably might just jump up to carbon. But for the people that don't want to spend as much on a carbon plated shoe, or don't want to be in carbon that often, this is a carbon composite plate. I forget it's carbon and something else. I forget what the other part is. So this feels carbon-ish. You feel that a little bit. It deadens the foam a little bit, and makes it much more stable. But yeah, so I think that a lot of people are really going to like this shoe. I feel like Zoomfly people who are disappointed in the way the Zoomfly is going should come over to the Magic Speed 2. Those are initial thoughts, first thoughts. All right. Shannon says, "Hey, Co-Famzy, I blame you and Frank Lahulier for my Primex purchase this morning. You got it for $105 though. That's an amazing price. I have Triumph 19 for long runs, but it's so boring. I'm not allowed to buy any more shoes." Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think that I just saw that the Triumph 20 just came out. I thought I saw someone with it. I don't know if it's out, but I saw someone talking about it on Instagram. And I also saw someone talking about the updated glycerin in the US. So I'm like, is that finally out? So there's some other options out there. So don't say you're not going to buy any more shoes quite yet, Shannon. There's a lot of fun shoes still coming out this year. But that Primex is a lot of fun. You're not going to be bored in it. I'll tell you that. All right, let me scroll down and catch up to you guys. One Horsepower says, "Are there negatives to being in carbon fiber too often?" I would say, as far as I know, and I always kind of check in with doctors who are running, because they're like on top of the literature in terms of the studies, in terms of whether things like is running in carbon a lot bad for you. They have said, so I mean, I may be misquoting them, but the last time I kind of checked in on there or heard them weigh in on it, there's nothing like biomechanically wrong with running in carbon too often. The thing about it is that it's not cheap, because the shoes that have carbon in it tend not to be the cheapest shoes. You know, most of the time you're going to be running easy paces. So like you shouldn't be running like a workout every day. So, you know, if you're using a carbon plated shoe for your easy days, it's a little bit of a mismatch. So you might not be using the right tool for the job. So it might just be uncomfortable in that sense. But as far as I know, biomechanically, I don't think there's anything wrong with running in carbon like a lot. I like to use it for all my workouts. Long runs, like 2 times a week I'm in carbon, I think. Bijan Mamar says, "Running shoes is a serious addiction." It can be. So I mean, yeah, it can be. Let's see. Susie I Run Things says, "I love the Boston 9. That was my go-to shoe before they changed the whole model." Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel the same as a Boston 9, but I think the way that people use it, some people use it for workouts, some people use it for all their runs, some people race their marathons in it. I feel like that kind of shoe, that's what the Magic Speed 2 is going to be. Yeah, and Adam says, like, it costs $100 less. Yeah, I think it's a lot cheaper than the full carbon plated options of the Metaspeed Edge Plus and the Sky Plus. So like it is a good, and like the outsole, the rubber is a lot thicker. It's not as tacky, but it's thicker, much more like mileage oriented. And the upper is really comfortable. Not a racer fit, But like the upper's really nice. I love the material. It kind of looks almost knit to me, and that like always grabs my attention. We're talking about the Magic Speed 2. So yeah, I like that one. Let's see what else we got here. Pat Watches stuff says, howdy, how are the Roku glasses holding up? They're holding up great. I've had them long enough now that like sometimes when they get smudged, I'm not like, wait, let me go find like a glasses cleaning rag, and I'm just cleaning them on my t-shirt. So we'll see how quickly they get scratched at this point. But yeah, I still really enjoy them. I like traveling with them because they're lightweight. And then I also like to use them for filming because I got lights up here and other glasses that I have, even though they have anti-reflective coating on it. The anti-reflective is not as good, so I do like the Roku quite a bit. All right, let me keep scrolling down. JC says, speaking about carbon fiber, he says, fiber is good for you with a winky face emoji. Fiber is good for you. And Eric says that the Triumph 20, I think, was for a September release. Okay. I can't remember where I saw someone running in it. It wasn't like, I don't know if it was a regular, like if it was like just a regular person. I don't think it was like Believe in the Run or like Road Trail Run or anything like that. Because then I would have been like, well, they might just have it early. I don't know. And then Brett says, when does US get Alpha Fly 2? I thought everyone had it already. Like I thought, like I've seen it. I didn't remember seeing any at Grandma's, but then after Grandma's, I remember seeing pictures of people in them. So I don't know if they're just like getting them on StockX or finding a way to get it shipped from UK. And I keep seeing them in people's like Instagram stories and reels and stuff. So I thought that they were here already. I'm not sure. Remy, what's going on? He says, first time in too long. What it do, fam? Loving the Kofuzi tour. Thanks so much, Remy. I have been having a lot of fun with it, and tomorrow's going to be another big day. I got to figure out how to get to the airport from the suburbs now, and I just did like a quick cost estimate to use like Go Shuttle or something like that from the suburbs, and it was going to be like $100 to get to the airport. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. It does include tip, but it's still a lot. So I'll have to, I think I'm going to try taking the Metra over to the Blue Line. It'll take a little bit of a while, about an hour and a half. So it's a little bit longer, but not substantially longer than it would have taken me coming in from the city. Just because I was all the way over by the lake. So getting to O'Hare was kind of a pain always. So some new things to figure out, but it's a big trip. I don't mind a little extra work to get to the airport. So I'm excited. I'm not sure what to do with the content though for Eugene. I don't want to make like a video every day. And like I don't want to make like a Eugene trip part 1 and part 2. So maybe it just makes it like a really long Kofuzi tour video. And then I'll post like little clips of stuff like along the way on Instagram Reels. And I don't know if I'll post stuff to TikTok or not. Maybe I'll post just like super goofy stuff to TikTok. And then also whatever I post to like Instagram stories, maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. I should probably figure out what my video content strategy is going to be for this 6-day trip. But to be honest, I still haven't quite figured it out. Tom Anderson, what's going on, says, hey, Kofuzi, so great to catch a stream. Usually a podcast listener. In 6 months, I'm doing a 50-miler, roughly half on crushed gravel and half on pavement. Any suggestions on shoe choice? I think that shoes like the Ultra Superior, what is it? Yeah, the Ultra Superior. Is that what it's called? I'm drawing a blank on the name. That would be a good one. I think that the Hoka Torrent would be a good choice as well. I think the Speedgoat 5 might not be a bad idea either. The Tectonics also has pretty low lugs, and for 50 miles, I think I would like that shoe. I feel like even though it's got dual carbon or parallel carbon blades or whatever you want to call them, I feel like it's a pretty chill shoe. A lot of cushion. So I just ran in it again the other day. Still don't have the right size for myself, but we'll see. Um, but those are some that I would try. Let's see, what else have I tried in the trail space? Yeah, those are the ones that I think that I would really kind of like look for. The Superior might not be enough cushion for 50 miles though. That one's pretty low to the ground, in my opinion, but it is comfortable. So the reason I mention it is because it does have really good like road to trail manners, you know. C-Town Fan says, do you make those YouTube shorts? I don't like watching YouTube shorts, so I don't make them. If I were to make something that's in that vertical format, I'll put it on Instagram. I'll put it on TikTok. I don't put it on YouTube. So I don't know. C-Town Fans also says that Pre's Trail is a must run. Hey, I think it might have been Jonathan Galt, someone, or maybe it was Jay Holder, someone that's big in the running world, was saying that like running on Pre's Trail is great, but it's like it's like a wood chip trail. And that person said to bring a pair of like basically burner shoes, because whatever shoes you're going to run on, the trail is going to destroy your shoes. So I'm wondering if anyone else has that experience or knows about that. Because I think that for when I'm watching the marathon, it's a 3-loop course. It's like 14K, like 3 loops and then like a couple 100 meters. And one of the ways to get from like point to point on the inner loop on the interior of the loop would be to take Pre's Trail. And I think that I'll be doing some runs on Pre's Trail too. So I'll be there, but yeah, Matt says 100% on Pre's Trail. You don't need a different pair of shoes. Okay. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Because I was like, well, what shoes do I bring to like sacrifice to the running kind of gods, I guess. But now that I don't have to do that, that's good to know. C-Town Fan said also, I didn't experience that. Okay. All right. And Matt said, I did 10 miles on it last time I was there and had 0 issues wearing the shoes the next day. All right, good. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That was kind of one of the things I was worried about most. I didn't want to like bring my Nova Blast 3s and be like, ugh, now these are all chewed up and gross. So. Charles Ventura says, I like the Boston 9, but I don't think I can run a marathon in them. And ideas for a non-plated marathon racer. Audio 6 maybe? Audio 6, I think it depends on the reasons why you can't run a marathon in the Boston 9. Because I feel like the Boston 9 had more cushion than the Audio 6. So if you're looking for something like that, but maybe there's not enough cushion for you to take it to the marathon distance, then you need something that's not the Audio 6. I mean, right now it doesn't help you because I do think that like the Magic Speed 2 would be a good contender there. But I would also maybe look at the Rincon 3. I don't think the Rincon's getting an update this year. So Rincon 3 would be one to look at. I think that could really work out for you. Mach 5, that's out right now. Nova Blast 3 isn't out yet. But those would be some that I would look at that I think kind of fit somewhat into that category that could really work. The Hyperion Tempo might be worth looking at, but depending on why you don't like the Boston 9, it might be too firm. So, yeah. So something to think about. Tactical Foil says, what do you wear for casual wear? A lot of times I just wear running clothes these days. This shirt is like a V-neck shirt that I got in a 2-pack on Amazon. The shorts that I'm wearing right now are Path Projects. It's like the Graves. It's like the 9-inch short. Earlier in the day, before when I mowed the lawn, I was wearing Oliver's brand, Oliver's All Over short. I think that's what it's called. And just like I think I was wearing like a Puma running T-shirt. So everything's pretty much running stuff for casual wear. Yeah, a lot of Rabbit, John G. Path Projects. Those are ones that come up a lot. Mike Arlt says, I ran next to a guy at Grandma's rocking Rebel version 2 for a sub 310. He has tough feet. I mean, I really love that shoe, but it's just, I feel like I bottom out. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, Tactical Foil says like casual wear. What I wear casual wear shoes wise? Yeah, the same. I still wear just old running. I usually wear old running shoes for casual wear, so it's pretty much the same. Um, for if I'm gonna buy a casual shoe, I mean, right now it's summertime, so I have a pair of Crocs slides that I really like. They're Crocs. They don't look like Crocs. UFOs are also really nice, but you're making a aesthetic statement when you're wearing an UFOs. If you know what UFOs are, you know what I mean, guys. But they're very comfortable. Um, let's see. I've been buying a lot of like Asics casual stuff just because I've been going on all these Asics trips, and like when I'm not in the running shoes, I want to stay on brand for these trips that I go on. Um, so I've been stockpiling a lot of those. You'll see those during the Eugene trip. And then yeah, I'm trying to think. In the wintertime, I have a pair of Timberland boots that I wear, but not like the New York work boot kind. They have other kind of boots that they have. So it's a variety of stuff. Brandon Page says, "Do you ever feel like not running? How do you stay motivated when sometimes you just don't feel like lacing up?" I mean, there's some times where I don't feel like running. I mean, I usually do. And a lot of times when I don't feel like running, it's not so much that I don't feel like running, but I feel like I don't have the time to dedicate to it. And so it's usually when things get stressful where I don't feel like it. But usually I'm pretty excited to go run. So it's not a huge problem that I have. But when I think about not feeling motivated to run, I usually think about like streaks kind of in a way. I try to zoom out a level and try to think about like, all right, well, if I don't get this run in, then what's my weekly mileage going to look like? And if I'm training for a race, then, I usually have like a weekly mileage goal in mind. Or I zoom out maybe even further to think about like, what's this month going to look like if I can't run today? And then I have a couple more days like that this month, then that's going to really affect the month. And I want to have consistency. If for nothing else, I like it when I look at Strava and you could see the month and it has all the circles. I like to just see a lot of circles. And so just find the things that help kind of like give you pleasure in that sense. Like it pleases me to see all the circles, it pleases me when I see like the mileage on my weekly graph chart on Strava doesn't, jump all over the place and it's pretty consistent. Those are the kinds of things that I like to see. So like, I think the solution, like something that's going around on a lot of the inspirational Instagram reels is like, and I've made a video about this before too, a while back, is like, you don't want motivation because motivation is fleeting and it's hard to maintain. What you want is discipline. What you want is consistency. So like focus on like, all right, I might not feel motivated to run, but let's work on consistency. Let's just get out there for a little bit. Maybe I had 10 miles on the calendar for today. Let's see if I can get 6, and I just got to get out there and get over that hump. And I feel like a lot of it is kind of like habit building, so like one of the things that I like to say is habits are hard to break, good or bad. So build some good habits and then they'll be hard to break. So even when you don't have that motivation, you'll have that kind of like, well, I want to make sure I keep this habit up, or I'm just used to going out and getting that run in. So that's the kind of thing that I start to like transfer focus on. Shannon says, I don't always want to run, but I feel better with routine. There you go. If I try to sleep in, I end up awake anyway, and I feel more unsettled. But a rest day always leaves me excited for my next run. Yeah, that's true. It's the other side of that coin, I think, Shannon, is like, you also want to make sure that you're not overdoing it, and is that feeling like you don't want to run a signal from your body saying like, hey, we need to like dial it back a sec, so something to kind of like keep in mind as well. All right. Remy says, only days I don't want to run is when I get to ride instead. I never don't want to ride. Oh, you know what? I just picked up the bike a little while ago. We had left it at the old building. And so I picked it up, and now I got it in the new house. The other day, I don't know where I'm going to ride it yet. That's the thing. I have seen some people along the bike path that I run on out here. But like, I haven't seen like where a lot of the cyclists are, but I think cycling is much bigger out here than maybe running is. And I know that there's at least one dude in the neighborhood who's a serious, I don't know, I'm guessing he's probably a triathlete. But like I saw a guy, I was walking with the kids one day, and a lot of people just have the, their garage doors open up in the subdivision if they're hanging out and doing work in there. And like he had like a little stand and his bike out. And then, like a minute later, I saw him like take the bike out for a spin. And then as we kept walking around the block, then I saw him, he came back around again. So I think he was tinkering with his bike and then like taking it out for a spin to see how he liked it. And so, I think I've seen some runners in the neighborhood, a lot of couples running together, which is nice. And I've seen a couple of people cycling here and there. So I gotta figure out where those people are going. Maybe it's a way I can meet the neighbors that way. Nicholas Holland said, also big thanks, Co. You recommended the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. I tried them on and love them. For my fellow runners, they're just about 50% off on Amazon, $80 to $90. Take a look. Yeah, they're a mega on sale now. I'm glad you like them, Nicholas. I do like that shoe a lot. It's a good one. PG says, I'm desperate for a new pair of running shoes, but want to hold out till November last 3, but not sure my shoes will hold out till then. Yeah, well, you know what? It's a month and a half away. Today's July 13th, right? So like you got August, 30 days, September, April, June, and November. Okay, so 31 days in August, 31 days in July. So you've got like 18, 40, you gotta make it 49 days. 49, can you make it 49 days? That's 7 weeks. Can you make it 7 weeks, Pete? I don't know. That is a tough one. Matt says, was I stalking the triathlete / runner? Got to find those new friends. I was kind of like, I saw the garage and I was like, oh, I think he's getting his bike out. And then he rode it around a couple times. I wanted to stop and say hi, but I was with the kids and stuff. I know the kids would have been like, Dad, let's keep walking, So I was like, okay. And One Horsepower says, biking on super easy days is nice. Yeah, that worked, I think, really well for me building up to grandma's. Is I would have my long runs on Sunday and then do 90 minutes on the bike on Monday. So instead of like a rest day, it was just really, really easy on the bike. I would end up looking at my watch to see like what kind of my paces were and stuff, but I tried to look at it as little as possible. After a couple times, I kind of knew where the 45-minute turnaround point was. It would be at like the top of this little hill like there was a bridge. So I'd just get to the top of that, turn around and come back and just kind of relax. And so that was always really nice. So I think I'm going to try to get back into that routine and figure out where to go to hit that bike. But that bike trail that I've been on, it's really long. And it has a couple of road crossings and stuff, but I think that I could ride that really far. I think I might be able to ride that all the way down to like St. Charles, which is like the next county south. Well, that's Kane County is the county south of here. So like, I think I could get a nice long ride in there. And I bet if I just ride that on like the weekends a couple times, I'm sure I'll find people that are like stopped along the way, like getting coffee and stuff. I'm sure. Well, I bet you there's a cycling club. I bet you there's cycling clubs, right? Like there's running clubs. I bet you maybe I need to find some of that. Mika says, what's going on, Mika? Says, hello, all. Just having a cup of coffee before an evening run. Have run doubles 2 to 3 times a week for a while now. 40 minutes in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening. That's a lot. Those are big doubles. Nice. Usually people flip it the other way around. Is it because of your work schedule? Because a lot of times when I see people do it, they'll run in the morning bigger run, and then like 30 to 45 minutes in the evening. Interesting. Let's see. Sean says, hey, does anyone here volunteer at races much? Thinking that'll be a good first step out west. Ooh, I've never actually volunteered at a race. And I'm like, at this point, I don't know that I will. Because for me, if I'm going to attend a race, I'd rather like film the race. But I always feel like people at aid stations are having a lot of fun. Or I think I would really enjoy also like being like a course marshal, being like, this way, this, helping people from getting lost and stuff, and just kind of cheering people on. I think that'd be fun. Handing out medals, I think I might enjoy. But again, I think I'd get really antsy. I'd be like, well, I could have been filming people like at different points in the course. So I feel like that's like a hard time that I would have. And Sean is going to be moving out to Utah. That's why he's asking. That's a big move. And C-Town Fan says, as a bonus, you'll likely get a discount for a future race, though. That's true. But I do think that would be a good place to meet a lot of people that are very connected to the running space. Jen Blinder says, biggest difference between New Balance 880 version 11 and version 12, deciding if I should get discount 11, which you currently own, or risk it and try the new ones. I think that the version 12 feels lighter and like springier. So I prefer that feeling in that shoe. And so the 880 version 11 feels like what the 880s have always been like, kind of like your workhorse daily trainer, a lot of rubber on the outsole. You're going to get a lot of miles, and nothing like really stands out in terms of the run experience, but it's a shoe that you can just put on. You won't think about them, you won't notice them, but you'll get your runs done, and it'll be like a very reliable companion. So it's traditional workhorse daily trainer. The version 12, I feel like it just feels a lot more lively, and so like I feel like there's a little bit more bounce in each step. I like the foam a lot more. It's softer, lighter. And also really good at picking up the pace. So I love the change to version 12. It to me feels like the 880 got modernized. Whereas the version 11 and before, I think were kind of like more of like the traditional, this is what we've been doing for a long time and we've been selling a lot of units and we're afraid to change it. Version 12, they're like, we're not afraid to change it. We got to, adapt or die. And that's what they did. They changed it a lot. And so it's a very different shoe. So like I would say if you can, try them on and see if you go to a place where you can hop on a treadmill or something, or at least, get in the shoes and maybe run around the block, around the store kind of thing, because it is a very different experience. In terms of fit, it still fits really well, still a very comfortable shoe, good for lots of miles, but it is a different experience. I would prefer the 12. But if you really love the 11s, then I would say get another pair of the 11s. The 12s will be there next year. There'll still be more of them later. Oh, look at these stories, though, about volunteering for races. Leona says, my friends volunteered for Beta Breakers and then got to run the race for free. Oh, that's more than I would expect. And Luis says the same thing about LA Marathon. Whoa. You get a free bib for LA Marathon the next year? That's a big deal. Nice. And CV76 says, high schoolers are getting their volunteer hours at a local race. I feel like that shouldn't count. You know what I mean? But it's always funny when you see the kids that don't really know what they're getting into when they're volunteering at an aid station. Because they're like, they don't realize that if they're holding out waters, they don't realize that they're going to get wet. If they're in charge of I forget what race was I in. Oh, I was at the race that I was in Clearwater. They had some high schoolers that were volunteering. I don't think they were getting volunteer out. I think these were like cross country kids. I think that they knew exactly what they were getting, but they were still having a fun time with it anyway. And one kid was trying to hold a trash bag for runners to throw their water cups in. And he was going above and beyond trying to catch them all, but he was just getting doused with all sorts of water and Powerade and stuff. It was really funny. And his friends were just dying laughing because he was just getting so wet. Yeah, it's really funny. Like in the early aid stations, they're just like, "Oh, what's happening? Why are everyone getting splashed?" And then by like the end of the race, they're just like, "Water, Gatorade," and they're just like fully into it and they know what's up. But it's pretty fun. Mm, let's see where Sean says, "I just wanted to hug volunteers at the halves that I've done. I feel like they were angels." It is really nice. You know, like what I appreciate too is like towards like the end of races, like the volunteers start like narrowing, pinching down the aid station so you don't have to veer so far off to get the water, you know, and they kind of like funnel it in. As long as it's not slowing people down, you know, I do appreciate it because it's just a lot easier to just not have to move over that far to grab that water. Yeah, Bernal Alcohol says, I'm doing New York City this year and I can't wait. The New York City Marathon requires you to volunteer to get automatic non-complimentary entry and run 9 of their races the previous year. Yeah, it's that 9+1 program. It's pretty wild. That's a lot of racing. For most people, I think I mean, I'm not, I don't know that I do 9 races in a year. And is it 9 in a single year? I think, is it over or a little bit longer of a period of time? But yeah, you got to volunteer at one and then run a bunch of other New York Roadrunner races. And I feel like the success of that has all these other marathons like trying to emulate. So like BAA is trying to do something, they're starting to develop more races. Chicago Marathons also start trying to develop more races. I feel like we're going to start seeing a lot more of that at other kind of events, which maybe that's good, but I don't know. I think it really tends to favor locals then because like I can't go do a bunch of New York Roadrunner races. And so that makes it hard. So like I think that it would make more sense if they did like sister races, you know, like pairing up. Like if you want to do like another half marathon, say like in LA, maybe it's like Rose Bowl half or something like that. Or if you're doing like, you know, like Peachtree Road Race, you know, those, if there was a way to like make those races all over the place kind of count, then I think that'd be more into it. But the 9+1 is just, it's, for me, it's overwhelming. I mean, I don't know I know a lot of New Yorkers do it. But Bernard said there's 9 in a year. That's just a lot. And there's a bunch of them, several every month. 5Ks and smaller races count. Okay. All right, because I was like, if you got to run like 9 half marathons and 10Ks, like even that's a lot, you know? And Stu says, I tend to pick the shorter ones. They have a variety of distances. There you go. All right. And Bernard says, you may time qualify with your sub 3. I just missed it. So for my good for age in New York, it's 2:58. So like 2:58 really is like the last time barrier that I have left to kind of chase, you know, because then I can get the good for age time for New York. I want to say that there's a good for age time for Chicago, but I think I have that already, and I've also run that race enough times where I think I can kind of like automatically get in for a non-complimentary bib. So, yeah. But yeah, if I could get a 2:58 marathon, that'll do. I think there's a half marathon time too, but it feels unattainable. Even 2:58 feels hard. But yeah. Lou says that the 9+1 is pretty easy. Is it? It just doesn't sound easy. I don't know. And Leona says, "What? I just missed it by seconds. I missed it by 36 seconds, though. It's not by a couple of seconds. So it'll be a tough one." Shannon says, "You don't have a good for age with your half for New York City. Mine is 1:34, which was easier than the full. I think the half might be. It's a 2:58 for the marathon, and I think the half time is like 1:20 or something like that. 1:24 maybe, which I don't run that many halves, even though I love the half marathon distance for racing. So like I haven't like really raced an all-out half marathon. Last year when I did the Chicago half, I did it as a workout in the Bondi X. And then the Clearwater one that I did, I trained for a little bit, but not super specifically. And I ended up running like a 128 or so. So it wasn't super fast for me. It was a hard day, but, I was there on like a family trip. So, yeah. So I don't know what the time is, but Bernard says it's 125. All right. So I should be able to do 125, I think. But my PR is like a 126 and change. So it would be a substantial PR for me, but I think I could do a 125. It seems fast though. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of you guys are saying the 125. Brant Surdike says, "Are you doing the Chicago half this year?" I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out my September schedule right now. Adam, we talked about yesterday doing the racing that Masters 12K in New Jersey. That's in September. I might try to go somewhere for September instead of running the Chicago half. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Maybe. Ooh, sorry guys. I don't know why that's making so much fuzzy noise today. Hopefully you guys didn't hear it. But Bernard says, like, when I turn 45, I'll get in for a good for age. If I'm still running at this level at 45, it's 2 years away, So we'll see. G.E. Brown says, Kofuzi, hello. Any suggestions how to combat running shoes rubbing the sides of ankle bone on each foot? Some shoes just run higher. They're taller on the sides of your ankle and they rub. So like if you're at a position where you're about to switch shoes anyway, know that not all shoes do that. Some shoes are very, very low cut. Like I feel like the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 has a low cut. The Nike Vomeros are always really low cut around the sides of the ankle, so there's a lot of room there. But if you have a pair of shoes where it's really digging into the ankle bone on each side, and that's like, these are the shoes that I'm trying to run in, I would say, consider getting some thicker socks. And so that would just give you a little bit more padding there. Like the shoe that I had a lot of problems with it rubbing my ankle bone was the Adidas Terex Agravic. That shoe was just so rigid. It really hurt to run in that shoe, especially because it's a trail shoe. So your feet are going all over the place. And every time like my feet had to turn a certain way, it would just like dig right into the ankle bone and it really hurt. Thicker socks are basically the only thing that I can do. I mean, you can try like, pressing down on the material and like deforming the shoe a little bit to do that. Apparently Mo Farah used to cut the back of his Pegasus all the time, to the point that one year Nike made a Mo Farah version of the Pegasus. It just had a really low cut ankle. It was like the part for him, it was more the Achilles than it was the sides. So you can kind of like tinker around with stuff like that. I'm not usually comfortable doing that kind of thing. So those are kind of your options. But know that like at a certain point, even if you have like a relatively brand new pair of shoes, if it's rubbing your ankle so much that you don't want to run, you might as well just, give the shoes to someone else, donate them to charity, figure out something to do with them, and then pick up another one. I know it's not, the most cost-effective thing to do, but if it's either spend a little bit more money and get a pair of shoes that works or don't run, I wouldn't want you to not run, so. Luke Klein says, how's the new house working out? Liking all the grass that's around you? I did mow the lawn today, and I don't love mowing the lawn. It took me about an hour this time to do it all, but I did like the weed whacking and stuff too. I don't ever use the leaf blower though to blow all the trimmings around. So it's like there's just like grass shards everywhere, like on the sidewalk in the driveway. I don't know if that bugs the neighbors or not. The neighbors were out on the one side, and I felt bad because they were sitting on their porch and having some coffee. And I started mowing the lawn. By the time I was done, I didn't notice it, but they had gone inside. So hopefully I didn't chase them inside. But I was like, basically, I've been trying to extend how long I can go without mowing the lawn. I've been joking to my wife that I'm going to mow the lawn right before I leave for Eugene, and that'll be my mowing for July. She's like, you're going to have to mow more than that. And I'm like, do I have to? I mowed right before I left for the long trip last time. So I mowed like the way end of June, like June 29th, I think. Maybe June 28th, something like that. And then that got me to July 13th. So if I can make it another 2 weeks, that's like basically end of July. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I just dislike it so much. It's fine. It just takes a long time, and I'm not used to it. So, CV76, I'm a non-elite mower. That's for sure. I'm really bad at it. My wife is always like, "Did you not do that side of the house?" I'm like, "I did." She's like, "Well, it doesn't look like it." I'm like, "Sure." Yeah. So, yes, CV76 says the FKT mowing is 1 hour flat. Well, it's mowing and the edging. So that's an hour. So maybe the thing is I shouldn't time it because then I'll rush, and it's an electric mower. And like when the grass gets thick, I got to slow down. Otherwise, like it just folds the grass over and won't mow it. I don't know if that's just that it's an electric mower or that's too light or it's under power. I don't know what it is, but I got to slow it down. So I'm trying not to race through it because that means I'll probably just have to go back and do it again sooner. Name Harib guys has a question, and this is probably the last one for today. It says, hello, how do you prepare for an altitude race on mountains? Do you arrive weeks prior to the race so the body can adapt, or arrive like a day before the race? I've never done, well, I raced a mile in Mammoth Lakes. That was at like 70, it started at like 7,800 feet, I think. That was hard. But I did a Ragnar relay in the Tetons. That was at about 7,000 feet. And in both of those situations, like I arrived, anywhere between 1 to 2 days before the race started. I'm not going to say that's optimal. It depends on the race, right? If this is a race that's like, you've got it like double circled on your calendar and it's something that you're going to spend months training for, if you can, I don't know that weeks is necessary, but like 3 days is a good amount of time. That's how long it took for me to for the altitude headache to go away. Like when I first got to Denver and in Boulder, like just sitting around, I kind of felt like a little bit motion sick the entire time. It took a couple of days for that to go away. And so like if you can give yourself 2 or 3 days, I think that's probably a good amount of time. But I think altitude and people's responses to it is very individual. And so some people are good after a day. Some people still won't be good after a week. So I think, it depends on what your body does in response to it. For me, like ideally would be 2 or 3 days, just to kind of get used to like being short of breath, walking up a flight of stairs. So that's how it is for me. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Adam, who has a lot more experience, says, try to arrive early if you can. That's not always practical. Otherwise, anecdotes say that the day before is better. You'll feel worse starting at about 24 hours for the next week. Fortunately, that didn't happen to me. So that's like the opposite of my advice there. But so there's a variety of responses. So, Lena said, love Des Fitt's video interview of you. Cool seeing you filming in action. Yeah. I always think that that's fun. When other people get to see it, because you see the result, but you don't see what I look like, and it looks really goofy. So I think that's fun. All right. I think that's going to be it. That's going to be the last live stream for this week and into next week, because I'm going to be up in Eugene. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys there in person. Otherwise, you can follow me on, I don't know how much content I'll be putting on YouTube while I'm out there, but there'll be lots of very immediate updates on Twitter, Instagram, maybe on TikTok. We'll see. So that's where you'll be able to keep up with me. I'll also be posting stuff to the Strava Run Club, in case you are up there and want to go to some of these events. I think Believe in the Run has made a lot of Run Club events to the ones that I'm also going to as well when we're both going to be there. So I won't double post. So make sure you're following their Run Club on Strava. Make sure you're following mine so you can figure out which ones will be going on, but there's basically going to be one every day that I'm up there, except for that Monday. So hopefully I'll see you then. And in the meantime, until I see you guys again on the live stream, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.